Don't forget that the Dooney Secret coaching website, the live link is below in the description here. And if you want to earn more money, if you want to book more shows, if you want to do a better job for the groups that you're working for, in other words, if you want more success at being a professional, fun guy, fun girl, joy bringer, then Dooney will help you. One-on-one coaching starts at $300 and it's worth every cent. And not only that, but it's a money-back guarantee. Hope to see you there. Hello again and welcome to my office. It's time for another quick video. This time I'm going to try to give you some tips to make your birthday party shows better, right? It's pretty much geared at birthday parties, backyards or living rooms, right? Because that's where I do a ton of shows. I also do shows at schools, but those are already set up for you as a magician, as an entertainer. Backyards, living rooms are where you have to kind of take the lead to get yourself set up for a successful show. So one of the things that I think, this is my philosophy, is that mom is hiring us as professionals because she wants us to handle a lot of the stuff. Right? She doesn't hire a professional and pay good money to then have to be their stage crew, right? So if mom asks me, what do you need for the show? I don't say, I need a blanket for the kids to sit on. I need small chairs for the intermediate kids. I need a backdrop behind me. I need, you don't want to give her a whole list of stage setups that you need because it gives her a pain in the butt, right? She wants to call you and have it taken care of. This is why I get hired back, because I take care of that kind of stuff. So what I do is I survey the crowd, because even if she sets up a beautiful, beautiful setting for you, she may do the worst thing in the world, and that is put the sun in the kids' eyes. Put the sun behind you because she's taking care of you. She wants you to be comfortable. She doesn't want the sun in your eyes. But you want the sun in your eyes. And this is a big point. Never put the sun in the kids' eyes. Because if they are looking up at you and they're having to squint to see the show, they're going to start looking away. And as soon as they're looking away, they're going to miss some of the magic, quite a bit of it. Because a lot of it is the setup of showing how it's regular and then it changes, right? And if they miss that how it's regular part, when it changes, they're not impressed. And even if they're just looking away, their attention suddenly goes over there. So you always want to arrange the show first. The first thing I look for is where's the sun. Okay? I did a show this last weekend that had a perfect setup with like a patio and like a couch kind of thing out there. And it would have been perfect to put the kids right there and me back on the patio. But the sun would have been directly in their eyes. And it was afternoon, so they would have been looking up into the sun. So I switched everything 90 degrees. I put the kids on the steps coming out from the sliding glass door. I put the adults on the couch. I had the other adults over here, and I created a different audience, but I put the sun off to the side. It's way better to be off to the side, or in my eyes, than it is in their eyes. Like if a parent gives you a tent, say they give you a tent, say, oh, I give you a tent for some shade. Great, wonderful. Let's put the kids in the shade, and you stand in the sun. Maybe hot, but people have been standing in hot spotlights performing shows since the dawn of time. You want the sun on you. You don't want the sun on the kids. You want them to be comfortable to watch your show. So I will first organize the audience, right? If I had my wish, I'd have a blanket spread out on the grass for kids to sit on. I'd have a row of kids' chairs behind it for the kids that don't want to sit on the grass. I'd have a row of bigger chairs for the bigger kids or the adults, and I'd have people standing behind that. So it would create like an amphitheater thing, right? Kids do better energetically when they're together as a group. That's why at school they bring them and sit on the carpet right there. They want the kids together when they really want them to act as a group. That's what you want. So you don't have to get that full amphitheater thing, but if you get the kids sitting and you get the parents bringing up lawn chairs and you have some people standing, you still get a tight group to perform to. and it feels more like an audience. You'll get a better call and response. You'll get better everything. So the first thing I do is look for the sun. The second thing I do is organize where the kids are going to sit. If mama's given me tables and chairs, like if I'm doing a banquet with tables and chairs and chairs and tables, that's like the worst thing because it breaks up the energy of the group. And the kids in the first tables will be happy. The kids in the second tables back, you lost them already, no matter how good your stuff is. So what I'll do instead is I'll drag the chairs. All right, everybody, grab a chair. We're going to make a semicircle right here. I'll drag those chairs over. I'll make a big semicircle, and then I'll have kids sit in front of the semicircle, and then you have the parents stand behind. Now, even though there's tables and chairs, you're out on the dance floor or whatever, you make yourself a little show. You set your stuff back where the stage would be, and now it looks like a magic show, and now it feels like a magic show, and now the kids will react like it's a magic show. Right? So that's the first thing I do is I organize the seating of the kids where I want it. Okay? I don't be an ass about it. I'd be a happy guy, you know? Hey, this is going to be a better show if we bring these chairs over here. Come on, everybody, bring your chairs. Let's go. It's going to be a fun show. You don't have to be do this, do that, do that. You just do it yourself, right? It takes 5 minutes. And then somebody will help you. Thanks, Mom, Dad. Come on over. Oh, yeah, great. Thanks. Bring them over. Yeah, that's great. They'll just start helping you. You don't have to boss people around. They will be happy to help you. All right. The other thing about setting that up is it keeps kids out of your stuff, right? If the kids know that's where you're supposed to be seated and your stuff is back, then they're not going to get behind your bag and get into your stuff, right? It will when they're gathering, bring them around. Come on, everybody come sit down. Everybody have a seat. And then once you start your show or even after your show, they are not going to mess with your stuff. Like I haven't had that happen in years because I keep the kids in the audience and I have my stuff on what would be the stage, right? So you notice I hung some cards. I stuck some cards around here. If you're doing a magic show, you might want to suggest Mom that all she has to do is buy cards and hang them up. So I have some cards that are bigger than regular cards, but I also bought some cards that are really big, right? All you have to do is hang them. They'll spin in the wind. They'll look like magic, and all of a sudden you have a setting like magic. So you don't have to do it. You can suggest that to Mom. She'll do it. You could also put cards around your magic bag, right? Just glue these on the outside of the magic bag. They're already laminated. And all of a sudden your magic bag looks even more magic. Let's see. So a couple of other things. Now I have this in my show routines, my opener, but I want to tell you it's a technique that I learned from McDonald's at one of my Ronald McDonald seminars. That, by the way, is my Ronald shoe. It's a bronzed Ronald shoe because I was Ronald for over 20 years. But what I want to say is crowd control is also a part of what you do, right? And that is that instead of saying, who would like to be a volunteer? I'm going to need some volunteers. And let them raise their hand and go, ooh, me, right? The way I pick a volunteer is I'm looking for kids who are sitting quietly, hands in their laps, big smiles on their face. And they'll keep raising their hands. So no hands in your laps, big smiles on their face. And I'm looking for the quietest sitting kids. But I don't need that till later on anyway. But I use that as my setup. And every time I look for a volunteer, that's what I'm looking for. Quietest sitting kids, hands in their laps. And what happens is no matter how wild and crazy, no matter how silly the trick is, because I like silly, I like to get wild and crazy. If I need them to sit back down and be quiet, I'm looking for a volunteer. Quietly sitting, hands in their laps, big smiles on their face. And they'll go, whoosh, just like that. I've had teachers come up to me afterwards and say that is an amazing tool, because it is. And even if I'm not going to pick a volunteer next, I still say that. I need to pick a volunteer, quietly sitting, hands in their laps, big smiles on their faces. I remember quietly sitting. Let me look around. Oh, but wait, let me do this other thing first. And now you go to what you just got them to sit down, quiet down, and you go to whatever it is you're going to go to. So crowd control. All right. Also, let's just talk about indoors real quick. Okay. So if you're in the living room, there's usually a couch set up, right? A couch set up, and it's usually, a place where the kids can sit down and the couch is up, but there's always a coffee table in the middle. Sometimes it's even a big, heavy coffee table. Don't worry about that. When you're getting set up, get one of the adults. Hey, Dad, come here for a second. Would you help me just move this coffee table out of the way? And you just pick that sucker up and move it out of the way. Now you've got a beautiful place for the kids to sit. The bigger kids can sit in the couches. A lot of times I'll say, nope, kids on the floor, adults on the couches, because you want the kids to come and watch. You want the adults to come and watch. And if they have a seat on the couch, they'll do that. If there are no adults, then sure, let the kids sit anywhere. But if you get rid of that coffee table, you'll find that you have a perfect little amphitheater there to use. Okay? Oh, yeah. So here's just one last thing, okay? And that is that a lot of times, I'm pretty good. I'm fooling the adults and the kids. And so a lot of times adults get just as mesmerized as the kids do. And they forget to take pictures. Now, one of the things that happens with our industry is the party sets up, the decorations happen, the entertainment happens, everybody laughs and everything, and then it all gets cleaned up and all the trash gets thrown away, and it's like it was never there. So if there aren't pictures, it's almost like it didn't happen. But if there are pictures, if there's pictures and if there's video, kids will remember it because they'll watch that over and over and over again. So if I come to a good bit in my show, like where I'm juggling around the 3 kids, and I notice that nobody's taking a picture, I will remind them, boy, this would be a great time for some adult in the audience to take some pictures, and they'll be grabbing their phone, right? And I'll remind mom when I'm booking the job. I'll say, don't forget to take a lot of pictures during the show because they're going to have great chance for pictures opportunities. But sometimes they forget. So if you've got a good bit, like I have a change bag routine where the kid pulls out the color that I have never seen, and the kid's the magician, and they're laughing, and it's like, everybody's clapping for them. They always get this great look on their face. Tell moms and dads to get ready for that picture before it comes along. And you don't have to make a big deal about it. You can just say, hey, moms and dads, now might be a great time to take a picture for the finale. And they'll do it, and they get that great picture, which they might have missed, right? I will even, if there's a teenager there, I will even give them my camera, and I'll say, hey, could you take a couple of pictures and maybe videos throughout the show just so that I can show them to mom and dad when we're done? Because that's one of the things I do with pictures, right? Is I'll try to get 2 or 3 or 4 pictures. I'll get pictures of kids with the face painting. I'll get pictures of the kids with the balloons. And if you can get the picture with the kids in the show, at the end of the day, when it's all over and the next day you send a thank you email to mom and dads and you include a couple of those pictures. Okay. And what happens is, guess what? They forward that to their friends with your information on the bottom of the email. Because everybody goes, oh, that's great. Click, click. They'll just forward it, right? So get pictures, set up your show, put the sun in your eyes, not the kids' eyes. Quietly sitting, hands in your laps, big smiles on your faces. The final thing I guess I should throw out there is I worked without a sound system for years, 25 years probably. And then I started working with the sound system. And now I hate it when I forget my sound system. I'd much rather have my sound system. And part of it is because I feel like I'm more professional. I have more control over the audience. If I need to say something, Joey, sit right down. Not that, but whatever. If I need to say something, I've got my microphone there. It works better on video because people can hear you. It works better for the whole show. I have a cordless mic that fits over my ear and has a microphone here. It's a Anchor Audio is my system, and it's not cheap. It was $2,000 or $3,000 for the first setup, with the speaker and a satellite speaker and the poles and all of that kind of thing. Maybe $4,000 now. But I don't bring all of that to birthday parties. I just bring the one speaker and the headset, and I'm all set up. And it's part of my regular gig. If you have, again, that puts you in that I'm acting like a magician. It's a prop that adds to the magic show, into I'm a magician. So it's worth it eventually if you're doing lots and lots of shows. And it's something that I've grown to love because I love the command of the audience with it. So anyway, all right, have a great day. Click on the links below, subscribe, lots more stuff coming.